That is one of the most poignant photographs of our time. It was taken moments after the assassination of civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in Memphis, Tennessee.
Today marks the 40th anniversary of Dr. King's death. Here's a look back at ABC's coverage.
Good evening. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, 39 years old and a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and the leader of the nonviolent civil rights movement in the United States, was assassinated in Memphis tonight. A sniper's bullet cut down Dr. King as he stood on a hotel balcony in Memphis. Within an hour, Dr. King was dead. That happened at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
I know that every American of goodwill joins me in mourning the death of this outstanding leader and in praying for peace and understanding throughout this land. We can achieve nothing by lawlessness and divisiveness among the American people.
We're going to go to Memphis now and talk to ABC's Tom Jarrell, who is on the scene.
Here in Memphis, of course, a great deal of shock, a great deal of confusion, and a great deal of some violence. I can't say a great deal because I don't really know. I do know that police are very concerned, that the fire department is moving units around the streets, and that there is some rock throwing and some fires reported and some shooting. The full extent of at this time from this vantage point can't be assessed. The Lorraine Motel is a favorite place for Negro leaders to stay while in Memphis. It's a very nice new modern motel. He was on this second floor balcony, standing exactly where these two officers are, talking with some of his aides at the time of the shooting. The scene immediately became confused. Officers ran forward and attempted to secure the area. The shot apparently came from an apartment building directly across the street. The members of Dr. King's staff were there discussing a mass rally which was planned for tonight. They said that suddenly there was a sound that sounded faintly like a firecracker or something, and he was talking about the shot. Musical program for tonight's mass rally.
Yeah.
And he had asked you to play a special tune.
Yes, yeah.
Did he say anything after he was shot? Could you tell how seriously he was wounded?
He just said, "Oh," and it knocked him back, off his feet.
After that, was anything said at all?
Nothing but "oh," and we yelled, and Reverend Jackson, he yelled back at Dr. King.
I said Dr. King. Just as I said Dr. King, he straightened up. And when he straightened up, the bullet lifted him off of the ground. And of course, and it took off a part of his jaw. He bled profusely before the ambulance came, and there were police all around. They came charging toward us, asking us what happened, from which direction did the shot come. We could say over our heads because you did not hear a shot. You just saw the explosion in his face.
Was he immediately knocked unconscious?
Immediately. And I immediately started running upstairs to where he was, and I caught his head, and I tried to feel his head, and I asked him, I said, "Dr. King, do you hear me? Dr. King, do you hear me?" And he didn't say anything, and I tried to hold his head. By that time, Dr. Abernathy came out, and of course someone called the ambulance. By that time, Dr. King said he would take care of him.
Us now here in Memphis, a couple of men who have been working hand in glove with Dr. King in his campaign here. Two men who just last night I saw share the speaker's platform with Dr. King, and they were working for a common goal, a common purpose, and they are the Reverend James Lawson of Memphis and Judge Ben Hooks of Memphis. What is happening outside at the moment? I know you've just come in, you've heard reports. What is going to be the reaction to the Negro community here in Memphis to this tragic occurrence?
Well, we hope that the reaction will be that there will be a deeper commitment to the things for which Dr. King lived and worked. That this tragic death will not be a signal for violence and for hate and for fear, but that rather today, more than ever before, people will try somehow to be in a repentant spirit and to decide that we have got to turn the directions of our city and of our land in such a way that the dreams that Dr. King had for all people here in Memphis and everywhere in this land and across the face of the earth will somehow come to pass. It would be a compounding of this fatal death if now Negro people or white people around our country should despair and decide that now's the time to let loose an orgy of violence. This would not be a tribute to Dr. King, but it would be a denial of his life and work.
We do believe, Lord, we shall overcome, Lord, one day. We shall